differently. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this 9 to 5 money in order to invest in what it is I'm really trying to do. Like I'm really trying to start investing in real estate. So I just leveraged my income from my job to start building wealth. And it, go ahead with the next question because I'll go.
No. So how long, tell me the process. How long did it take? So you had the dream, you realized this is what you wanted to do, and then you started leveraging your money. So how long did it take for you to actually make a transition where you said, you know what, I'm going to quit?
Yeah, so I actually spent, I think, maybe about 7 or 8 years in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
So it took time, and real estate was not the first business that I started. Like there were some other things that I got into, like, that didn't work out. As an entrepreneur, you try things and see what work and what don't work. And,
right.
I started different companies that didn't work out. But when I found real estate, and I got serious about it, I think it took all of maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 years before I.
Something happened to the sound. Hold on. Did you touch something? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you came back. Okay, good.
Okay, sorry. I thought I put it on do not disturb, but it's
okay, it's back. It's back.
Okay. So anyway, it took me about 3 or 4 years, and then I was able to get out of I call it the rat race.
Mm-hmm. Your face is gone now. Hold on. What? I don't know what's happening. We can't see you anymore. We hear you, but not see you.
No.
It's a blank spot. Is your video started?
Yeah. Let me see.
There it is. You're back. Yep, you're back. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, cool.
So
I could see me. I don't know why you couldn't see me.
I don't
know. Okay, so yeah, it took me about 3 or 4 years, and then I was able to get out.
So do you think that and this is not on my question sheet, so we're just flowing. So do you think that your accounting background and your understanding of business, because I'm sure you had to take a lot of business classes in college, do you think that helped you in terms of, just knowing like how to save, what to do, what's the right amount of money, how to put your money, like, because financial literacy, I feel like is a huge problem in our communities of color.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I know for a fact my father was a millionaire at some point, and he literally died and left the earth with no dollars. And like you, and he was actually a realtor in our office for Weichert. So I found his card after he died, that he was in that exact same office, which was a Weichert space before. But he never really jumped into real estate. But my grandmother was a buy and hold person. So as a little girl like you, she would take me around to she was her own property manager, and she would collect her rents from people and hold my hand, and I would be there with her. So I understood real estate very early on, but I just never saw myself in real estate. I definitely never saw myself as a real estate agent. This is even crazy that I even got here. But now that I am a real estate agent, I see the extreme importance of real estate investing and how there's no other way for me to leverage myself and to retire except through real estate investing. So that's why, that's another reason why I wanted to talk to you, because you've done what so many people want to do. So talk about the fear of it all. Like, I know people did not welcome this idea, especially your parents probably said, girl, you went to college for 4 years. What do you mean you're quitting? How did that happen?
Yeah. So first, I'm going to answer the question you said about, did I think that my background had anything to do with today, like the success that I have today, or the company. But yes, I do, because I'm a numbers person. Mm-hmm. And being able to understand assets versus liabilities, mm-hmm. That's my background. Being able to look at a financial statement, like numbers don't lie, and being able to understand it in a balance sheet. I do think that all those things help with the success that I have today. Mm-hmm. In numbers, because real estate is numbers. It's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. It's a numbers game. Can you still hear me good?
Yep, I can.
Okay, so now going into the fear. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna always have some type of fear, mm-hmm. or uncertainty is what I like to call it, because you don't know. But I think I probably could have left my job like a year or two before I really did like put my 2-week notice in. And a lot of it was because of the reason why I didn't do it so soon is because of the fear.
Yeah.
Of what if I fail, or what if, I end up having to come back here, or whatever. Am I really ready?
Yeah.
And sometimes that can pigeonhole you, you know what I mean? And so it's just the unknown. But for me, at some point I had to make a decision and not allow fear to hold me back, or the uncertainty hold me back from what I feel I was called to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like my story and my journey, it's helped so many people transition, from a 9-to-5 into something that they've always wanted to do, and to build wealth. And I would have never been able to do that if I would have stayed where I was. So it's just a decision that you have to make.
So for people who may not have a business background, or who may not even have, gone to college, what type of training or education do you think it requires to become a real estate investor? Start your own business, even if it's not real estate investing.
Yeah. So for one, it's like whatever it is that you choose to do, whether it's real estate or, whatever, you have to seek knowledge. Like you have to learn as much as possible about the field that you want to move into. Now, if it's real estate and investing, you need to know your market, like the market that you're thinking about investing in. You need to know that inside and out. You need to know what's on the market, what's moving, what areas. I mean, that's key. Like what's being gentrified. Like gentrification is huge. What's coming, to the area? So you have to study. You have to become a master of your field. It's no easy road. You know what I mean? It comes with research. When people like throw up commercials or quick videos and make it seem like you could make money real quick, or it's easy, or real estate is a get rich quick type of business.
Right. It's not.
It's not. Like if you're really trying to build something worthwhile, it's a marathon. It's not like a quick race. Like it takes time. You know what I mean? So education and knowledge is key. And I always tell people you should start with, if you don't know where to start, you should start with a mentor. I had an unofficial mentor when I got started. It was a guy that he was my loan officer, and he had did the loan for the very first house that I purchased out of college to live in. I was purchasing it to live in, and he did the loan on it. And then he came back, like after I lived in that house for like a couple years, I think like a year, maybe been a year or two. The market crashed, and that house, it was upside down. And then he came back to me, and he was like, "You ever thought about real estate investing?" We were just talking, and I was like, "Yeah, like, man, I've been praying about this. Like, yeah, this is something that I've always wanted to do." And he was like, "This is what I'm doing," and he kind of showed me what he was doing, and I learned. Like I went to some of his job sites. I saw what he was doing, and from then on, I was sold. I was like, "Oh yeah, like now's a good time." So when everybody else was panicking, he helped me see opportunity in the panic, kind of like where we are right now with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that it didn't just provide an opportunity, but it helped like change my mindset at that point too, because that's a part of being an entrepreneur, is being able to see opportunities in any situation.
Right. What year was that?
This was like back in 2000. It might have been like 2008, 2000, around 2008, 2007, something like that.
Yeah, that was in the heat of it.
Right. I was in a property that was worth half of what I paid for it. I was like, wait a minute. I thought that real estate can never,
Did you end up keeping it? What did you do with that particular property?
Oh man, that is a stuff. Okay, so what I ended up doing, I'm gonna give you the short version
Okay.
of the story. But I ended up renting that property out, and I moved. I bought another home because prices were really low. I moved. I bought a big house out in Waldorf. It was like 1 year. It was just built, less than a year old, and the lady had just bought the house and lost her job, and she needed to move quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that property. I bought it, and I got it. I got it for a steal, a
Mm-hmm.
steal. And then after I bought that house, I ended up, and I was renting out the old one that I was living in,
Mm-hmm.
which was, it was a liability because even though I was renting it out, I wasn't getting enough to cover the mortgage payment. I was still coming out of pocket like $300-400 a month. So after I bought what I wanted, then I did a short sale on that property,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up negotiating. If people don't know, you could do this, but I ended up negotiating with the bank to not report it on my credit as a short sale.
Mm-hmm.
They just reported it as a paid in full. And
Wow.
so it didn't, yeah. So, I was blessed in that sense because it didn't
So it
affect
didn't impact your credit for you to continue
that at all.
your journey. Wow, that's
Did
great.
nothing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
because everybody was doing short sales back then.
mm-hmm. I mean, I've
So,
done
yeah.
short sales with people who they just bring money, whatever they negotiate the balance down, and they bring less, still less than what they owe, but they bring less, and they do this kind of the same thing, where it doesn't affect their credit. That's actually really, really smart to do. So from then to now, I mean, I know we've talked about this before because I work with a ton of investors, and everybody has their own thing that they do. Everybody has their own niche of what they do. So what would you say is your niche or your specialty in terms of real estate investing? What do you focus on?
Well, my focus is flipping and buying and holding.
Mm-hmm.
I started off flipping, and of my first couple of deals, I made absolutely no money.
Oh no!
And it was horrible. Everything.
Too high? Why?
Too
expensive.
A combination of things. Like I was learning. I had bad contractors.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah. So and I can't put it on one thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just it was a number of things, but but it is what it is. And so I started after those two deals fell through. I was like, I don't know if this flipping thing is for me. I think I'm gonna get into buying and holding.
Yeah.
So, which ended up working out really well. I bought my first buy and hold, my first rental property, shortly after that, and I started cash flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back into flipping. And then I got back into flipping, and because I had been through so much early on, like in the beginning, it like helped prepare me. It really helped prepare me to know how to move smarter and analyze deals. Like I didn't know a lot in the beginning, and I learned by just jumping out there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And then I went back to flipping. And then after I flipped, I would buy another rental. Then I would, I kind of had that combination going on.
So in a year's time, what's your flip goal and your buy and hold goal, or does it vary per year? Like, do you want to buy a number of properties per year?
Oh, you mean like how many do I like to buy a year?
Mm-hmm.
My goal is always like 12 a year. And that's like what I aim towards. If I pick up 12 this year, my goal has changed.
Mm-hmm.
But no, before my goal was to do like 12 properties a year.
Flip
and that could be flip. It could be flipping, or it could be picking up, buying, and holding.
Mm-hmm. Or combination. Okay. So for a person who wants to buy and hold, so my main real estate goal, I want to do all three: flipping, buying, holding, and wholesale. I do wholesaling anyway, but for buying and holding, I know for buying and holding, what would you say is a good positive cash flow number? What should you be looking for?
Well, for me, I like to make at least $1,000 net, $1,000 off of each property. That's me.
Yeah,
So
I've
what is
heard
that, like
500 to
12,000? What'd you say?
I've heard 500 to 1,000.
Yeah, I don't really do 500. It's too low for me.
Too cutting it too close. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you're gonna have, you just have things that come up, expenses and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And how do you find your tenants?
most of my tenants are 99% of my tenants are Section 8.
Now, people will say, I mean, I do rentals all the time. People will say, no Section 8. Why do you use Section 8? I think it's a great thing. It's guaranteed money. It makes sense to me. But why do you do it per se?
Simply because, like, right now, what everybody is
Trying to
in this
figure out how to go get
pandemic,
rent money.
not getting their rent money. I haven't missed a beat.
Yeah, exactly. And people don't realize that you can vet the Section 8 tenant just like you would do any other tenant. So yeah, that's a
My
total.
process is very thorough. It's a very thorough background process, or approving process for my tenants.
Okay. So for a person who says, I really want to do this, but I have no money, what's your advice to them? How do they start with $0?
Well, be creative. You know what I mean? Don't let money hold you. I mean, it's always going to be something that you don't have, but you have to figure out a way to make it work. If you don't have money, if you don't personally have it, find the person with the money that you need. Like, you could use a private lender. It takes a little bit more creativity because you have to find you have to move outside of just doing things traditionally. You have to be a little bit more, creative.
Right.
But if it's money that is holding you back, then you have to find a really good deal that a private lender would want to invest in. I talk about this on my coaching calls all the time. Some people have 401ks, they have retirement funds, but then they say, well, I don't have any money to invest in real estate. Well, you have a 401k that you can access. You can actually pull money out of your 401k for real estate. That's like one of the things that you could do. There are unsecured lines of credits that you can get with different banks. I don't know what they're doing right now since the pandemic, but there are ways to find money. Like, you cannot allow one particular thing handicap you.
Yeah.
You know?
So that same person may say, well, I have money, but my credit sucks. What do you say to that?
You got to find a person with the credit.
I
mean, this is a business. Business is not for weak people. And I don't mean that to be offensive,
right?
But this is a bulldog business.
Yes.
Okay. You have to be creative. You have to find what it is that you're missing. Whatever piece of the pie that you don't have, you have to go get it. You got to figure out where it is. Like, if you was hungry and you ain't have no food and you have no money to buy some food, you're going to figure it out. You need to eat, right? You're going to figure out, how am I going to get food? You're not going to come ask April, how can I get some food? How can I eat? I'm starving. I ain't ate in like 3-4 days.
Right.
No, you gonna put that mind to work and you gonna figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So did you start doing solo projects? Because you've told me about some JV situations. Can you explain what JVing is? And do you suggest for people that may be in that situation, is that a route that they should take? Partnering with others?
Yeah. So basically, with a JV, that is simply means a joint venture. It's when you partner up with people. I've done several JVs. And you could be the person, you could JV on a deal where you're the person bringing a deal. You could joint venture with somebody that has a deal and you're just bringing the financing. Or you could joint venture. A lot of wholesalers are joint venturing on deals where they're wholesaling a wholesale deal. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah. I haven't done no wholesaling JVs, but I have done some for like flipping and different things like that, where I've either funded them or I bought the deal and put no money out my own pocket and flipped it.
So how much for a person who does have a 401k, who has decent credit, who has some money saved, is there a number you think you need to have secured in order to start this process of buying and holding or flipping?
You want to, okay, so if you're buying and holding, you want to make sure you have reserves, again, because anything can come up. You know what I mean? Like, you could have, I don't know, you could have a shower that starts leaking, you know, and you want to make sure you're not a slumlord. You actually want to make sure you're able to take care of it, because, you know, tenants will move. Like, if you're not taking care of them or taking care, and it's your property, that's your business, that's your investment. So you just want to make sure, I mean, I don't know if you have 1 rental or 10 rentals, but whatever it is, you need access. If you don't have it, you need access to reserves in case something comes up. Doing a flip, it just depends on how creative you want to be. Like, you can, you know, you can, like I said, you could do flips where you're doing a JV and you're partnering with somebody who has the money, and so it doesn't cost you any money out your own pocket, and then you guys maybe split 50-50 on the back end when a deal is sold.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What about what about any hot areas? What would you say is a hot area right now that people may consider or should try to learn more about? I've heard a lot of buzz things, but what do you actually believe?
Hot areas, all the areas that I'm not in. So stay out of my area. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I would say obviously
you don't really do DC though, do you?
Yeah, I do DC.
You do?
Trinidad, yeah.
When you start doing DC?
I do DC deals. I've been doing DC deals.
Okay. Some of those DC deals are just so high.
I mean, yeah, they are. The numbers are higher. I don't have anything in DC right now. The numbers are higher. I have I've done deals in Trinidad. I love Northeast. That area is dope. Anything around like 8th Street and Acacia. Obviously, like, those areas are good. If you're talking about Maryland, PG County obviously is good flip area. And it's gonna take some work to actually find deals, so people don't think that they just gonna fall out the sky.
Right.
It's a grind to find them. And then if you're talking about buying and holding, Baltimore is a good buy and hold area. I'm laughing because I just got off the phone with Marquise. He's a big investor. You know Marquise. Big investor in Baltimore, and you know, he's like, Baltimore is gold. It's gold for buying and holding. Is, you know, he's a big advocate for Baltimore.
Yeah, he loves Baltimore, and he's found some really good opportunities. He's been very blessed, and he's been doing Baltimore since probably 2000, like 10 years, 2009, 8, probably. So he got properties probably for pennies when, you know, people are paying so much more for them now. So like you said, he saw opportunity, he saw a window of opportunity. He definitely jumped in it, but he really knows the market. So what you said earlier about really investigating the market, he knows every neighborhood, every street. You could call
every neighborhood.
he knows it. He is definitely a Baltimore expert.
Listen, when I was ready to invest in Baltimore, I called Marquise. And I was like, I said, Marquise, just take me and show me, because I drive through Baltimore, and in some areas I'm not getting out my car. So I was like,
a suspect for sure.
Right. And so Marquise took me. I mean, I spent a good maybe 3-4 days with Marquise, and we walked blocks. Like, he wanted to show me like what are good blocks and what to look for, and this and this and that. And so after he showed me, I was like, oh, boom, I got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so now,
like that for sure. That's willing to help.
Yeah, that's willing to help you. So now, you know, I'm good.
So you have bought properties in Baltimore?
Yes. Yep. And I was just talking to Marquise because I was thinking about selling it. Like I put it on the market 2 days ago to sell, and I got an offer literally last night in 2 days in Baltimore, and that's unheard of in Baltimore.
Right.
And Marquise was on the phone talking me out of selling it. He was like, "Don't do it. I'm telling you, you're on a good street." And I picked up the property for like 60,000. I really ain't put like much work into it, and I have a tenant that's in it, and I got an offer for like 110, and I was like, you know what? I'm thinking about, because Baltimore's just so far, but I like Baltimore. I was like, I'm thinking about selling this house and just like, but Marquise was like, look, keep it. You got a tenant in there. You know, you cash flowing, and you got an offer on that street. You know what I mean? It's a really good area. He's like, in 2 days, like, you crazy.
He's like, buy more on that street.
Right. I really hadn't done much to it. You know what I mean? And I'm out of pocket at $0 on our property. So he was like, just keep it. Like,
is that what you're gonna do?
I haven't made up my mind. I'm praying on it. I haven't made up my mind yet.
I like that you pray before you do things. I think that's really, really important.
Girl, yes. Because if I was going off on my own,
right,
like,
I don't do anything without praying about it.
Right.
So let's see. So I think we already covered that. So I'm just looking at the questions. You said, we talked about getting started. Is there any what's the 3 most important things you think somebody needs to know or have or be prepared to do to get started? If they wanted to start today, what do they need?
Yeah, so like I was saying, like, I think knowledge is key. Mentorship is definitely key. You want to have the mentorship. And also, you want to constantly work on mindset, because success is literally the mindset. It's how you look at situations, because things are going to happen. You know what I mean? And you're going to have some ups and downs, and you might have some rocky starts or whatever, but it's how you look at it. A lot of people, they fail or they don't succeed at things. It's just because of the way that they interpret it or the way that they look at it. So always, work on putting positivity into your mind, work on maybe thinking outside the box. And if you need help with that, look, I wrote a whole book called Quit. Okay?
Oh, but
help you with your mindset. It is 10 things that you need to quit to start building the life of your dreams, including that 9 to 5 if you hate it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just on how you look at things. And so that's key. That's what I think you need.
That's good. That's really good. So let's see. So do you kind of mentioned it, but you didn't say yourself, you said earlier that you like teaching and showing others. So do you have a coaching and mentoring program that you would like to share about?
I do. So you can go to my website. It's www.flippingkrazy with the K. So that's FLIPPING, crazy with the K, KRAZY.com. And I have a coaching program, a mentorship program. I have one-on-one coaching calls. Everything is on my website. And also, you can follow me on Instagram. My IG is April_Miss_MS_boss. Or you can just look up Flipping Krazy. And I give out a lot of gems.
You do?
A lot of gems on my IG.
I watch your lives. They are very, very good, very informative, very helpful. So talk about Flipping Krazy Kids. I saw that on TV and I was like, oh my God, that's April. Those kids were so cute. You still do that?
No, so I can't talk about that.
Okay. All right, we won't talk about it. But anyway, it was good. Okay.
Yeah, they're great kids.
Okay. All right. So for people like yourself, so most people, I find when people talk to me about this, when we're talking about leaving your job or they're asking me how I left my job, one of the first questions they say is, what about your retirement? What about, the benefits that you're leaving behind? So as an entrepreneur, how do you cover yourself for those things? I know you're very young and fresh, but retirement is going to come very soon. So how have you accounted for that in your life? Or what kind of a retirement planning do you suggest a person may consider?
Yeah. So listen, real estate has given me the biggest retirement possible. Like when I did the math and I looked at how much retirement I would actually have sitting on my job for like the next 30 years versus what I could do in real estate in like 10 years is a no-brainer. You know what I mean? But I do have retirement like set up as a backup.
Yeah.
And I think anybody should. Like, I don't depend on it, but it is there. It's a backup. I think if you are an entrepreneur or thinking about it, you want to make sure you have a self-directed IRA set up. You want to make sure you have or a solo 401k. Those things are very important to have. Whether it's like insurance, you know.
Yeah.
You hope you don't need it, but it's there in case you do. So I have invested in I guess 401k is just like a traditional job. And with real estate, there are little benefits that you get to contributing to your 401k, your solo 401ks and things like that. And you could still use that money to invest in more real estate. So that's pretty much my retirement strategy.
Yeah, that's really good. So you are an accountant, but do you do you have a professional that you use to help you, or do you do your own stuff?
Yeah, so I have several professionals that I use to help me because one thing that you have to always think about is, one, you have to be teachable. You don't know it all, so you always need to reach out to experts, people who do this for a living. I don't do accounting for a living anymore. So I reached out. Like I do have CPAs that I work with. I have tax accountants and bookkeepers, and they're key, like critical, especially when you start to grow in business. You want to have people like that. Yeah. And so I would say if you in the beginning, it's probably you don't probably have the funds to hire people like that. I mean, you can always hire a tax accountant. You always need that. But as you start to grow, you want to invest into those areas because you don't want to be stuck spending hours, at the end of the month or the end of the quarter trying to reconcile things or trying to find out like what your tax liability is. Like you want to, you give that to the professionals to handle that. So you can keep focusing on, so I can keep focusing on what I do best.
Yeah.
So that's important.
That's very important. Okay. And so you kind of mentioned it earlier too. One of my questions was, have you ever considered going back to full-time employment? And you said when the pandemic
Hell no. Hell no. Then that's not a curse word.
Yeah, people ask me that all the time. I have never once considered going back to my job. Not one.
Hell no.
And I have had some ups and some downs, but the thing that I know for sure is that I can count on myself. I know that I can get out of whatever situation I might find myself in. And real estate is the one, to me, the most reliable thing that's always going to be around, that's always going to have dividends affiliated with it. And so going to get a job, I actually kind of felt like when my dad died, I was definitely in a state of whatever, just not sure about anything. And I was like, maybe if I go get a job, I can get myself together. I literally was there for 2 whole weeks. It was like, it woke me up quick. It was like, what in the world
are you doing?
Done to myself, right? And I quickly snapped out of it. And that was literally 2 weeks. I could not believe it. Because people were like, and it was like $100,000 a year job. But it's like, it's it's never really 100,000.
It's not exactly. It's not $100,000. Like when you look at your take home pay, add that up and see if it comes to $100,000 a year. You know, look at the money that's touching your hands. Like I want my money to touch my hands first. Let me get my money first.
Right.
And then I'll talk to Uncle Sam, or you know what I mean, or I pay who need to be paid. But y'all take my stuff before it even hit my hands, like, and then give me what's left over.
How I decided the thing that pushed me over the edge was one Friday. I had a settlement, and my principal would not let me off, and she said, if you take off, it's going to be leave without pay. And I was just like, okay. So, because I had to be there for my client, right? So I went to settlement, I got my settlement check, and at the same time, I got my pay stub from work. And so when at my mailbox, I'm looking at my pay stub, which was, and I made like $88,000 a year. My pay stub said $1,500, $1,538. My check from a settlement,
like, where did the money go?
Said $9,000. Whatever it was, right? And literally, I was in an open house. The person came in and they bought that house. So it took me less than 4 hours of work versus 80 hours of work. And that's when I was just like, that was my epiphany. Like, are you crazy? Like, this is what you need to do. And so whatever fear that I may have had, it completely left at that moment. And like you said, it's a leap. You definitely have to take a leap, but the mindset is you can bet on yourself. And if you can't bet on yourself, then no, you shouldn't do it. If you don't trust that you will be able to make your way out of this, you absolutely should not do it.
You should not do it.
You should not do it. You should keep your good government or whatever job that you have.
Yeah, and allow somebody else to, tell you what to do, and, and tell you when you can take off, when what you're gonna make and what you need to do today. But no, like at this point, I've been out of a 9 to 5 so long, like my mindset wouldn't even allow me to go back. If I ever got down to my last, I'm sorry, I would take my car out there and I would put it won't be called Uber, it'd be called, I don't know, April rides. And I would literally be driving and picking people up, you know what I mean, and dropping them off. Like
So that's all my questions. This was a really, really good conversation. Do you have any last parting words for us? You are amazing. I'm very proud of you.
How are you?
You are inspiring.
Thank you.
I just love you, and I'm glad that we're friends, and I'm glad to know you. And you are going to be my. I'm gonna invest in your coaching and mentoring program. I know you have a lot of students, but I need one-on-one. So whatever I got to pay to get that, that's what I'm going to pay for.
I appreciate that. And we still have to do our happy hour.
Yes,
like,
we do.
We've been trying to plan this happy hour for like a year now.
I know. Busy boss babes. We've been busy.
Exactly. So I just want to tell everybody, because I did mention my book and what it was about, but I didn't get to tell everybody where you can get it. You can pick up a copy on Amazon, or you can go to my website and click get the book. I think, and it's in my link. It's in my bio, also on my Instagram page. You can click the link for what does it say? Oh, get my book. So I wanted to share that, and then I also wanted to tell people, like, if anything, don't allow what we're going through, this pandemic, to be in vain, or like to take things for granted. Don't take life for granted. Like, if anything, we should be able to look at this situation, and you should be able to reevaluate where you are right now in life. And if you feel like I need to make a change, or if it's something that you know that you want to be doing that you're not doing, life is short, and outside of that, because I don't like when people dwell on life is short, but outside of that, we have to remember that, and I try not to talk about the government too much, because last time they blocked my Instagram page, because I say what I want. Like, I'm always like, the government is not going to save you, guys save yourself. But if they're funnel, like, pushing out $1,200 checks, a lot of them stimulus checks, a lot of that didn't even like help people. There's so many people on unemployment right now. And if you're sitting around waiting on government to come save you. If you were one of those ones that didn't have no reserves in your bank account and you was like, I don't know, like what the hell am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about the other side to the coin. Like, what if the government didn't give anything? Some people didn't get anything.
Yeah.
But what if they didn't get anything? And a lot of people can't get unemployment. I mean, y'all know what the situation is. Like, it's real. This should be an eye-opening experience for you to really take action and do something that is going to put you in a better financial position going forward, where at least you have a better, like, even if you don't, not the person that want to quit your job, that's fine. We need people to have jobs. That's fine.
Yeah, right.
But if that's not you, you can at least look at this and say, okay, I can't just do my job, because we don't know what's going to happen after this.
Yeah.
People could be laying off people. You don't know. But, and I'm being, I'm trying to be positive, but I'm trying to get people to real and say, you have to make a decision. Like, you have to take action at some point. And if you are one of those ones that want to take action, now is the time to do it. And this pandemic is showing you that. So get the mentorship that you need, get the courage, get the mindset, and let's get busy.
Let's get busy.
Follow me on Instagram, Flipping Krazy, and check out my live I have coming up on credit and leveraging credit, which a lot of people need that. So
they do. Well, thank you, phenomenal lady. I appreciate you very much. And
no problem. Thank you.
Hey, I'm gonna text you. I'm doing something on Sunday, a social distance little thing. So maybe you can come through to that, if we can actually see each other. Okay.
I would definitely come through, and I can't wait until we're not social distancing anymore.
I know. I'm so tired of wearing a mask and all that, but I do, because I'm not trying to get that road at all.
Oh no, you don't want that
at all. So I love you and thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Love you too.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.